Module 2, Chapter 2, Personality and Learning. Personality is the relatively stable set of psychological characteristics that influences the way an individual interacts with his or her environment. Personality is determined by genetic predispositions, one's long-term learning history. Personality is determined by genetic disposition, one's long-term learning history. Each of us has a unique personality. Does the person's behavior influence the situation, or does the situation influence the way a person behaves? This person-situation debate led to three approaches to OB: the dispositional, situational, and interactionist. The dispositional approach: individuals possess stable traits or characteristics that influence their attitudes and behaviors. People are predisposed to act in certain ways. The situational approach focuses on characteristics of organizational settings, example rewards and punishments, that influence feelings, attitudes, and behaviors. Studies show that situational factors, such as task characteristics, determine job satisfaction. The interactionist approach combines both dispositional and situational approaches. In a weak, loosely defined situation, disposition has the strongest effect. In a strong, clearly defined situation, disposition has less of an impact. Trait activation theory says that traits lead to certain behaviors only when the situation makes the need for that particular trait salient. Implications of organizational behavior. There is no one best personality. Organizations must appreciate employee diversity. Fit is important. Putting the right person in the right job at the right place. The big five personality dimensions relate to job performance, organizational citizenship, and others' behaviors. Motivation, job and life satisfaction, job search and career success, and tend to apply across culturally. Here we see the five-factor model of personality, or the big five, with the extraversion, emotional stability, agreeableness, conscientiousness, openness to experience. In extraversion, we have social, talkative, versus withdrawn or shy. In emotional stability, we have stable or confident versus depressed or anxious. In agreeableness, we have tolerant and cooperative versus cold or rude. In conscientiousness, we have dependable, responsible versus careless, impulsive. Openness to experience, we have curious, original versus dull, and unimaginative. Locus of control, a set of beliefs about whether one's behavior is controlled mainly by internal or external forces. Internals feel they are in control of their own destiny. Externals feel they are controlled by fate, luck, etc. Internals tend to be higher achievers. Behavior determined by fate, luck, powerful people. High external control. High internal control behavior determined by self-initiative, personal actions, free will. Self-monitoring is the extent to which people observe and regulate how they appear and behave in social settings and relationships. Low self-monitors are not too concerned with fitting in or hiding emotions. High self-monitors tend to be adaptable. Act the part. Example, act the part. Self-esteem, the degree to which a person has a positive self-evaluation. The difference between high and low self-esteem relates to the plasticity of their thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors. behavioral plasticity theory, people with low self-esteem tend to be more susceptible to external and social influences than those who have high self-esteem. Positive affectivity, PA, the propensity to view the world, including oneself and other people, in a positive light. Negative affectivity, NA, the propensity to view the world, including oneself and other people, in a negative light. PA and NA are emotional dispositions. Proactive personality, a tendency to take personal initiative across a range of activities and situations and to affect positively change in one's environment. Positively correlated to performance, tolerance for stress, effectiveness, participation in organizational initiatives, and career success. General self-efficacy, GSE, refers to an individual's belief in his or her ability to perform successfully in a variety of challenging situations. GSE is a motivational trait rather than an affective trait. Core self-evaluations. Core self-evaluations it's a broad personality concept consisting of 4 basic traits that reflect the evaluations people hold about themselves and their self-worth. These are self-esteem, general self-efficacy, locus of control, neuroticism. All of these relate to overall satisfaction and performance. Learning, a relatively permanent change in behavior potential that occurs due to practice or experience. Learning stems from an environment that gives feedback concerning the consequences of behavior. What is learned in organizations? Practical skills, job-specific, intrapersonal skills, problem-solving, critical thinking, risk-taking, interpersonal skills, communicating, teamwork, conflict resolution, cultural awareness, organizational norms, priorities, and goals. Operant learning, the subject learns to operate on the environment to achieve certain consequences. Behavior results in consequences. Consequences reinforce behavior. We learn the connection between behavior and consequences. Reinforcement, the process by which stimuli strengthen behaviors. Positive reinforcement, the application or addition of a stimulus, positive reinforcer, or that increases or maintains the probability of some behavior. Positive reinforcement, the application or addition of a stimulus, positive reinforcers, that increases or maintains the probability of some behavior. Negative reinforcement, the removal of a stimulus that in turn increases or maintains the probability of some behavior. Occurs when a response prevents some event or stimulus from occurring. The removed or prevented stimulus is a negative reinforcer. Could also be a positive reinforcer, increasing the probability of negative responses. Organizational errors involving reinforcement, confusing rewards not directly related to behavior with reinforcement, neglecting diversity or not appreciating individual differences in preferences for reinforcers. Organizational errors involving reinforcement, neglecting important sources of reinforcement. Example, performance feedback, quantitative or qualitative information on past performance for the purpose of changing and maintaining performance in specific ways. Social recognition, informal acknowledgement, attention, praise, approval, or genuine appreciation for work well done from one group or group to another. Continuous immediate reinforcement, achieves fast acquisition of some response. If if reinforcement stops, behavior will likely stop. Partial delayed reinforcement achieves persistent behavior. Behavior will likely continue with intermittent reinforcement. Summary of reinforcement strategies and their effects. Here we see this graph, strategy and effect. If we want, let's say, fast acquisition, the frequency of the reinforcement should be continuous, and the delay of the reinforcement should be short. So we reinforce immediately and in a continuous way to fast acquisition. But if we instead we want persistence effect, we would use partial. The frequency of reinforcement should be partial, and the delay of reinforcement could be long, not immediately, but it could be doing by time. Strategies to reduce the probability of undesirable behavior. Extinction, the gradual dissipation of behavior following the termination of reinforcement. Punishment, the application of an aversive stimulus following some behavior designed to decrease the probability of that behavior. Punishment, the application of an aversive stimulus following some behavior designed to decrease the probability of that behavior. Problems with punishment only indicates what is not appropriate, does not indicate what is appropriate, can provoke strong emotional reaction from the punished individual, tends to be a temporary fix. Using punishment effectively. Make sure chosen punishment is truly aversive. Punish immediately. Do not reward unwanted behavior before or after punishment. Do not inadvertently punish desirable behavior. Here we have the summary of learning effects. We have the probability of behavior increasing or being maintained or decreasing. By increasing or being maintained, we have two ways: positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. We add positive stimulus by positive reinforcement. Negative stimulus is removed in negative reinforcement. Example, if we want positive stimulus added, positive reinforcement, an apprentice machinist learns to operate a lathe correctly as the master machinist praises his performance over time. Negative reinforcement, a shipping clerk whose boss is a chronic nagger learns that she has filled an order properly when the boss stops nagging. Decreasing the probability of a behavior, we have negative stimulus added, like punishment, or non-known reinforcer terminated. Reinforcer terminated, like in extinction. An example of punishment is a sales clerk stops being rude to customers after the store manager cuts his hours and sends him home for the rest of the week. That's punishment. And extinction is a salesperson stops calling on an established customer after making 10 visits without sale.